We're live. Hello, and I am Nancy Sheed of Sheed Communications, and I am very, very, very excited to go behind the scenes today with Molly Beck and Carly Valancy. These two fantastic women have sort of come into my orbit recently with regard to the power of the reach out, and that's what we're going to talk more about. So without further ado, I'll let you each kind of introduce yourself. Molly, you go first, and you do more than just reaching out, so we'd love to hear a little bit about that too.
Sure. So my name is Molly Beck, and I run a private podcasting software that companies come to our site and use our software to start podcasts for their employees outside of Messy FM, although I'm wearing the shirt right now. What else I do is I'm a writer, and my book Reach Out came out a few years ago, all about that network. And that's where my story with Carly and our journey together really starts.
Awesome. All right. And that's a great transition to Carly Valancy.
Hello. So happy to be here chatting with you today. My name is Carly. I am actually an actor and performer. I come from the theater industry, and I am also founder of Valancy & Co., where the Reach Out Party plays a big part in, but we help people find community and build their connections so that they can recognize their possibility and impact.
I was like, she's got to get the word impact in. I know she's going to get the word impact in. It's very important. We're going to take you back, but I'll fast forward a little bit that you guys came into my orbit. I think, Molly, I haven't even told you this. I think I found out about this through, I think, an Instagram post you had put, like for the first cohort. And I'm like, I got to do it. And then realized I missed it. So we'll fast forward to the parties, but as marketers, we also like to know how people hear about things. So you came on to the radar screen, I think, from the Instagram post. But let's take it back, right? Let's take it back a step, reel it back. And will you let us know, Molly, like, what was like, did you wake up one morning and say, I'm going to write a book about reaching out? Can you take us, like, what got you to that point?
So happy to talk about that. So, wow, what a journey it has been to write a book. I feel like that you probably understand that, being in the book space as well, but I'd always wanted to write a book. I had a blog that I started in like 2008, 2009. The blog did well enough that I had an agent, and we spent many years shopping a book proposal that would be getting tweaked or wouldn't be happening the way that I wanted. And I really thought my dreams to write a book were not going to happen. So I put the book idea on a shelf. I'd been working the whole time in marketing. And I ended up in 2016, I was working at Forbes, where I was running Forbes podcasts. And they asked me to write an article for a column that they did. And the column was called Mentoring Moments. And it had people come on, give like a quick tip on something that had been helpful in their career. And I had been reaching out, sending one email every morning to a stranger or close to a stranger for about 5 years at that point. But I'd never really told anyone about it. And so I thought, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I'll have this be in the column. So I wrote like 500 words about reaching out. I called it ROing, which is what I put in my calendar, and submitted it to Forbes. And they didn't publish it for like 4 months. So I totally forgot about it. And one morning I was coming back from a meeting. I remember it so vividly. It was a Tuesday. And I opened my email and I had a million LinkedIn connects. And I was like, I was like, oh man, I've been hacked. Like, that was so thought it happened. I was like, oh, what a bummer. And then I started reading the messages, and they were all talking about reaching out. And what had happened is that Forbes had published the article at like 9 a.m. that morning. I had been in meetings since then. It was like lunchtime. The article ended up going viral. And as soon as I realized, like, I put the pieces together, that this concept of reaching out was resonating with people, and that it was like sort of going viral, which I'd never had happen before, I'm like, I have got to talk to my agent. So I send an email to my agent, and her name is Molly. And I'm like, Molly, I think I have the book idea. And I hadn't talked to her in so long. I got a bounce back because she was at a new agency. So I quickly track her down, and I'm like, Molly, I think this is the book idea. And then we started shopping the book idea. I think it was that Friday, and McGraw-Hill picked it up within like 2 weeks. So I totally get it. If someone's listening to this, trying to write a book, that is such a hard thing to do, to like write. I was writing proposals. No one was picking up. I was really sad about it. I thought that my dreams of being an author just weren't going to happen in this in this decade. And then on like a totally random Tuesday, my life really started to change. So if you're out there and you want to write a book, don't lose hope. Sometimes that happens in really unexpected ways.
And well, I was going to say, I'm glad you reiterated that, because I wanted to say, did you hear that? Molly said years. Like, you know, it wasn't like 6 months. It was years. So that, I mean, kudos to you for the persistence. And presumably your original book idea wasn't necessarily on this topic, right? Like, but this helped you totally laser focus.
Oh my God, I had so many book ideas that we shopped. One was just a straight book of tips. One was a dating book. One was like a fictionalized memoir about like a random part of my life that I then decided I didn't want to publish. Like we had lots of different random ideas. None of them were anything close to reaching.
Okay. All right. We're gonna keep on the reaching out, but I'm like, I will come back and say what's next on the Molly author list, right? Okay, so your book comes out, and we're skipping all the parts and pains of what goes into a book because we want to hear about the parties. Your book comes out, very exciting. You start getting readers and responses. Fast forward to how, Carly, how does this book find you, or how do you find this book?
Well, I will definitely say this book found me, and it's one of, I think that I'm not unique in that I found someone else's work that spoke to me. I found Molly's work, Molly's voice. I felt like I saw myself in it. And unlike many other books, Molly's book gives you a really actionable, easy to follow strategy. And I found myself in a very different industry that Molly was in. So there was a lot of tweaking on my end just to make it work. But most importantly, I heard her voice and wanted it to be mine too. And I wanted to latch on to that. So I think that what is unique is, you know, we all as human beings, especially as human beings that are interested in learning and growth, we all find pieces of work that impact us, but it is where action meets impact that is actually the hard part, right?
Yeah.
So I think that really what finding Reach Out, or what Reach Out finding me did, was allowed me to start paying attention, start making decisions, and start taking small action every single day, which was something that I was not doing beforehand. So finding Reach Out was less about networking for me, actually, and it was more about paying attention and making decisions, taking action, and becoming an action-oriented person.
I love that. And at what point you're doing your reaching out, like, was Molly your first reach out? And if you guys have told this in the kickoff stories, you know I've missed both of them. So, like, who was Molly your first reach out?
She was an Instagram DM.
She's so good on that Instagram, that Molly. Okay, and what did you say? Can you tell us like what you said? Did you simply say, I want to throw parties, or was it the fangirl?
No, it was totally fangirl. I mean, it was really just, hey, I just read your book and I love it. I can't wait to share it with everyone that I know. And I did not realize that would become exactly what I was doing. But it was one of those things where, you know, you participate in something that you love, or you read something that you love, and you cannot help but refer it to everyone you know. Right. And it wasn't until I hit 100, because Molly talks about how she, in this book, she talks about how she reaches out every weekday, for 1 year. Now, 1 year was like a long time to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try for 100 days. 100 days, that's 4.5 months if I do every weekday, do the math. And it wasn't until 100 days that I was able to look back and recognize how much about my life changed, not only in the practice of that, literally my network and my community had expanded, but also that I just got into the practice of sharing my own ideas and my own voice. And so I was able to be seen the way that I want to be seen by my mentors and my heroes and different authors. And it just allowed me to get creative. But it wasn't until 100 days that I looked back and was like, oh my God, this is genius.
The 100 days comes, and are you checking in with Molly through your 100 days? I mean, is that, or did you just sort of?
No, I think what happened was I was about to hit 100. I was telling my mentor, I was like, I'm about to hit 100. I can't believe it. I did it. Like, that wasn't that hard. And I think I'd like to throw a party just to have like a fun get together in New York. I could talk a little bit about what I did in reaching out, but mostly just like a party to celebrate connection. And my mentor was like, you need to say more about this. What do you mean you've been reaching out every day for 100 days? And then the more I told people about it, the more people wanted to know the details and how to do it. And it was, I think, probably like a week before the party that I reached out to Molly and I was like, hey, I'm throwing a reach out party. I would love for you to, I would love for you to just send us like a short video just saying hi, just so that, because it would be so cool for everyone that comes to see, oh my God, the author sent a video. That's cool.
And she did, and she showed up, and
she sent a video. She sent me books in the mail to give away to people.
Oh, I forgot I did that.
So lovely. Really good move for you.
Okay.
And that really worked out for me.
I just love the idea that you're like, I just needed to have a party to celebrate connections. I'm like, oh, that sounds so wonderful, especially right now. And when did you sort of say, let's take this show on the road? Like, let's take this show on the road. How did that come to be?
So January, I reached back out to Molly. She had been I remember you'd been on vacation, Molly, and you were like, I'm on vacation, but I'll get back to you next week. Yes, I reached out and I said, I'd like to have a pitch meeting. And I pitched you over Zoom. I pitched you like 14 different ideas for how we could.
You know what, Carly, I just want to interject here. I totally forgot you did that. And if someone else is watching, I forgot that was one of the most like impressive presentations. And actually, Carly, what you don't know is that I actually, when I think that you said you were talking about other books I might write, I've had an idea for a long time about a book that's about showing up for meetings with an unasked for deck and how that can really like change your life. And you actually totally did that in that meeting. And it was so impressive I kind of actually thought Carly and I were just gonna have like a casual conversation, and we got on the Zoom, just her and I. She was like, okay, here goes the presentation. And then she gave me a presentation. How could someone not be so impressed with someone doing that? And yeah, I mean, that was, if someone's watching this and is trying to figure out how to impress someone, ask them for a call that they think is like a casual call and show up and mean business. And like,
wow,
it will change that meeting changed both of our lives.
Well, and as I'm watching it, I'm also thinking that this is full circle because Carly, what I'm hearing from you is I'm sure you had the confidence, but the confidence of doing 100 reach outs had helped you define who you were, what you wanted to do. So thanks to Molly's book, you were able to actually do that and be that present, which is,
oh yeah,
so meta. So you pitched the part. So there were more, it sounds like there were a lot of ideas. I'm glad this one, how did this one punch through in terms of let's do these cohorts?
Well, what I love about it being a party is that it really did start off of like a need and a want on my end to celebrate connection, to celebrate community, and to seek collaboration. So that was just like the seed of our why we're doing this. Right. And then what Molly really added to it was the whole point is like the accountability, the doing it every single day. So let's extend it and make it a community in and of itself. So the idea spawned because of COVID, actually.
Well, that was my question. Like, that was the suddenly like, okay, now we actually have a function in this time of crisis, right?
Well, initially we were planning to have a 200th reach out party in April in New York City, and Molly was going to fly in, and we were going to do this amazing, just like one night event.
Carly, you and I were going to take photos together.
We were.
A photo shoot, a reach out.
I was like really stressed about like getting my hair in the right condition for this photo shoot that never happened. Obviously, my hair doesn't end with that either.
For those watching, I don't think I've actually explained. So what ended up happening was a reach out party, which is 27 days, meeting at least once a day on weekdays for 27 minutes. And you basically are guiding people through and also and accountability for reaching out, right? And what was appealing to me was the 27 minutes every day. I mean, I got to tell you, like that, especially because of COVID, the accountability piece was as strong as, okay, I have a reason I have to be clothed and potentially out of my bed and functioning at 9:27. Like that's what I've learned in COVID was I needed to have the accountability. But you were also, and every day Carly will say, thank you for showing up for yourself and everybody here. And I'm like, yeah, I can't let my people down, right?
Yeah.
And how did you guys decide the 27 minutes and the 27 days? Because I feel like it's just the right amount, right?
Molly?
I used to work in online marketing, and when you have a number that ends in an odd number, it's easier to remember. So I've always enjoyed the number 27 because it's a multiple of 9 and 3. And so when we were trying to think of a way to do it, we decided that 27 would be both the pricing for the first cohort and the length of time, and then also how long we met. We thought that would be more memorable. But then something that's really exciting is that we actually realized a long time later that the very first time that Carly reached out to me was on the 27th of the month. And so I feel like 27 is our special number now.
Right?
It's also something I just wanted to point out as well is that, like when I was talking about that Zoom call, Carly and I are friends now, but we weren't friends back in even just like January, February. And sometimes when I think people think about reaching out, they feel like, oh, like I'm just going to bother someone or they don't really care. But Carly reaching out to me was like one of the biggest gifts in my life. And so for anything that's happened because of the reach out parties, it's been a gift to me. So when you send someone an email, you're not bothering them. You're giving them an opportunity to collaborate and connect with you in ways that their life, the target's life, can be forever changed. And when we do the reach out parties in the kickoff, not that you ever come, I usually...
It's kind of tricky for me. And yeah, I can't, sorry. That's the market feedback. Sunday nights are tricky. I can't commit.
Don't worry about it. I'm just kidding you. But one of the things I say is that my hope for everyone in the cohort is that they reach out to someone and that they can change this other person's life in ways that they never saw possible. I was so proud of Reach Out when the book came out, and I was always proud of the work, and I would get wonderful, nice Instagrams. But I really thought that the book was just sort of contained in a specific part of my life, and I'm on now doing other things. Carly reaching out to me and making the book so much bigger with skills. Carly has skills I do not have at all. Like she can facilitate a room, she can put stuff together. She bringing her skills to this idea has been transformational for this idea I had that really was my own. And that is like what collaboration can do. It takes your ideas and makes them so much bigger and better. And I'm really grateful that she reached out to me and had these ideas and showed up with a Zoom call and made it so, not that I would have said no anyways, but made it so I couldn't say no. She was just so prepared and on top of things and excited. That's the kind of people you want in your life.
Well, and the possibilities, like, working with you always love to see how it can take these ideas, from books to action impact, but just give them more life, give them more legs. You know what I mean? And and this isn't even about branding. It's actually having the impact and seeing what you've put into words and you've shown proven. Carly's like actually making it happen or helping you make it happen. You're both making it happen. But
I think something to add to that's so special is now that we're in the middle of cohort 3, we are all part of the changing story that is like, what really is connection worth? And what are the possibilities when we not only believe in ourselves, but believe in others and go after that collaboration instead of waiting for other opportunities? And I think that's something that's so beautiful and wonderful, is that Molly and I may be the experts in the room, but it's not really that way anymore, because everybody has something so special to contribute.
Right.
And now it's like, it almost feels like the Reach Out Party is like this living, breathing, changing thing. And it's so exciting to watch.
Be careful what you wish for. No, it is. And I would also add to that, without going too deep, is, you know, I was in that second cohort as the world was, I mean, we were already in COVID, but as George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and racial injustice, and I have to tell you, like, again, waking up to that community in the morning and people are like, I got you. How's everybody do? You know, it just, especially when we're all on our own right now, that was another part that I hadn't appreciated was going to be such a powerful part. Not just reaching out and creating our own communities, but that community that you had created.
Right. We say in the kickoff too, it's like, it's no small thing to wake up with the same 30 people every single morning. And, you know, I said last time, like, we're going to see current events together. We're going to have hard days together. We're going to have amazing days together. What's something so incredible is that once you catch the motion or see someone else in motion, it's actually very contagious and inspiring. So if you're feeling stuck and you see someone that's in motion and has a mind for possibility, then you want to catch on. And same, you know, if you're in motion, you see someone behind you that's stuck, you want to uplift them. And that's what the best part of being a part of community is.
Right. And even the little things like job interviews, birthdays, right? Like, you got this fan club of 30 to 50 people every morning or evening, and you're like, I got my peeps, I'm all set, let's go. You know, so, well, kudos. Taking a pause, that, like, and not to not celebrate it. But what I think was also a huge discovery was reaching out isn't just shooting an email or picking up the phone, right? There's an exact science to this. So I'll let you both answer, because I think you both can weigh in on this. But let's talk about what makes a great reach out. Like, there's actually an art and science to this that I've loved learning from you both.
Yeah, I'll cover the science and Carly can cover the art. On the science side, two things that are very helpful when you're sending an email if you're looking for a response. The first is to have your subject line be very compelling and make it something unique in their inbox. You want to stay away from reaching out. You want to stay away from nice to meet you. You want to stay away from thank you. Have the subject line be specific. But on top of that, you also want to use title case. So what title case means is that every important word in the subject line is capitalized. There's a lot of research that using title case in the subject line inspires people to open their email more often, which makes you more likely to get a response. So use that title case in the subject line, have it be specific. You have a higher chance of your email being opened. That's number one on the science side. The second thing is that you need to be short in your email. Brevity is a gift. And the way that you can check to see if it's short is see if the email is short enough to read out loud on a voicemail message. If it was something you could read out loud as if you're leaving a voicemail, you are good to go. Send that off. Carly, tell us about the art.
My favorite. So I think my favorite rule of the reach out is specificity. Sending a specific reach out is what is going to really make it yours. And not only will people want to respond to that and it will, you know, further communication, but it's really what ups the confidence when you're scared, when you're sending a scary reach out, or when you're sending a reach out that has like you're a little nervous to send it. That's really great. But what helps you press send is the specificity, is the fact that, you know, you're doing something that only you can do. And I think what makes a great reach out is really acting on the impulse. We all of us have many times thoughts about like, oh yeah, I should reach out to that person. And then for whatever reason, we get distracted, we get busy, we're afraid, we don't send it. And that's, I think, something about humans, that we sometimes don't do the things that we say we want to do, or sometimes we don't act on our impulses. And the thing that makes a great reach out is just being able to say yes to yourself and to have the impulse of like, wow, I loved that book. I want to reach out to that author, and actually doing it.
Yeah. And the other piece that and I think what's great about in the reach out parties, you actually spend a lot of time of, enabling everybody, and enable being a positive word in that situation, but getting people to sort of, tear away all the reasons that they don't do it. Is it time? You're giving them time. Is it fear? You put some inspiration in there, right? Like, I think without having everybody feel like they're on the therapist couch, you do a fantastic job of like giving them that space to make the most of that 27 minutes in their reach out. What are the other things though that's a secret nugget? I mean, I know there's the sandwich of compliment, comment, compliment, but you position it differently. So what's the other magical part that you like to put in the reach out? Starts with a G.
Gift. It's a gift. We always think that, I'm just feeling so zany today. It's a gift. So when we send a reach out email, usually when you think about reaching out to a stranger, you think about the ask. Why are you reaching out to them? What are you trying to get from them? And we really encourage you to think about it differently. What are you giving to them? How can you add joy to someone else's inbox? What's an email that you think they need that will make their day? And you can have an ask in the initial email, but you also can be giving them a gift of like, hey, I saw your career history. I've been following you on Instagram for quite some time. Just want to say it's really inspiring how you've done X, Y, or Z. Or I came across this piece of public art that you put out, and can I just say it completely changed blah, blah, blah. I start every day with your podcast, and it makes me think so differently about what I am doing in the world. Give them that really genuine compliment. Whose inbox is full of gifts? No one's. It's full of to-dos and calendar invites, and being able to stand out because you're giving them a real genuine gift is reason number one. Is it makes the world a better place, which is why we're all here. But reason number two is that it also is the best way to start a true relationship with them, so that 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years later, when you think, hey, that person could actually help me get this, reply back to the original thread, remind them that you've been following their journey for quite some time, and then make the ask. We do the gift before the ask in our parties.
And to build on that, I think, and Carly, you do a great job, is like, sometimes there doesn't have to be an ask. Like, I think that's been a stumbling block, I think for myself as well. And that's having the reach out parties flip that has been really helpful. And I think, to your point, reaching out to somebody doesn't, you may not hear from them, right? Like right. You may not hear from them. And, Carly, you've even given examples of sending a reach out to a person, place that's inanimate or maybe no longer with us, right? Like there's that whole gratitude for it may be something you need to say.
Yeah. I used to keep a gratitude journal, which is a super trendy, popular thing. And then I was like, this is what this is doing. It's great for me, but it's just sitting in this dusty journal next to my bed. So it's a great way to just like put a little action underneath your gratitude. And, it's such an incredible practice for yourself and for others to actually find out, what are you grateful for? Why do you love this person's work? And answer the question why. So that goes back to specificity. You're sending an email to say, hey, I wake up with your podcast every morning. I love it. That's great. And also, what do you love about it? And it makes you just think like, why do I love this thing? Or why do I want this person to keep creating work? And especially in COVID times like these, very isolating, difficult times for people, for all of us to show up for someone else and say, hey, I see what you're doing. please keep going. I love it. And this is why. That can be an incredible, incredible gift to give to someone else during this time.
And it has been. So I'm going to recap what makes a great reach out. Subject line, brevity, specificity, and the gift. Okay. And now I want to just sort of talk about when for those of you not honored enough that aren't in the reach out parties, we're always given the opportunity to talk about a dream reach out. So I feel like it's an opportunity we never get to ask you guys who your dream reach outs are. So Molly, who is your dream reach out?
I would really love to have contact info for Sarah Blakely so I could send her an email about how impactful her journey around self-made entrepreneurship has been for me and how much I've enjoyed her social content, her Instagram content, her masterclass, the articles I've written about her, her husband's books, of which I've also read all of them. I would love the opportunity to get to tell her that. So Sarah Blakely from Spanx, my dream reach out.
Okay. Anybody who knows Sarah Blakely, listening, watching, whatever, we've got a task for you. And Molly will return the favor because she is a master reach outer and major connector and can help you find anybody as well. Carly, who's the dream reach out of the moment?
So, okay, yes, I was just saying this before. My dream reach out changes quite often. Right now, in this current moment, my dream reach out is Raw Goddess, who is the founder and CEO of Move the Crowd. I heard her on a podcast, and every single word that she said literally made me stop in my tracks. I think that I wrote down, because I like to take notes on podcasts too, but I wrote down every word she said and dissected it and made like a mind map for it. I just think that she is one of the most brilliant minds, and she has changed my mind about my definition of success and about the way that I can be showing up for others daily.
Okay, Raw Goddess, are you listening? Are you watching? Tune in. All right, I can't. This is such a treat. This is sort of like the explosion of the weekly sessions and getting to see you all. I really appreciate it, and this intersection of reaching out and networking community is just one of my most favorite things, and it's been hard in coronavirus. So thank you both for sharing your gifts with the world and beyond, and I hope this continues. For both of you, I will put links everywhere, wherever this is posted, but Molly, where can people find you? Where can people reach out to you? What's the best way to sort of follow and connect?
Yeah, sure. So you can always reach out on social. My email is, my social handle on all the platforms is Miss Molly Beck, MSMOLLYBECK. Also, my email is molly@messy.fm, MESSY.fm. It's also the URL for my company website. And if you want to join the Reach Out Party, we're currently starting to get applications for cohort 4. So Carly can tell us more about that. Or also, you can always buy the book if you're not ready for a party yet. The book's available wherever books are sold. It's just called Reach Out. And we recommend that you do the book and the party at the same time. It's a great way to get a real 360 view of the space.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Carly.
Hi. Yes. So you can find me on social on Instagram. I'm Carly Valancy, which I think you can see as it floats by below. And then my website and also the home of registration for the Reach Out Party is valenceandco.com, VALENCEANDCO.com. And you can also email me at carly@valenceandco.com.
Nice. Thank you all both so much. I'll put all the links. And for anybody else watching, if you just want to know a little bit more before you reach out to Molly or Carly, connect with me. I would love to tell you more about it behind the scenes, right? I know you're going the wrong way. I was like, you guys are that way.
Sorry.
And if just sort of being seen is a challenge for you, and you want to just help get unstuck, you can find me at nancysheed.com, or my website, Nancy Sheed Connect. All my socials are there. I'm SheSalt. But I love chatting with people and helping them also figure out how to get unstuck and be seen like this. So thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next week at the parties.
Yay!
Okay.